Welcome, everyone, to the 2025 curriculum night for all of our parents and students who are going to be ninth graders at Edina High School. With me today, we have ninth grade counselor Angela Kiefer and Natalie Goldberg, the other ninth grade counselor. Happy to have you joining us.
Uh-oh, are we having technical difficulty all the time? All right, should we give it one more try?
I think we should.
Okay.
So it is 2025. So we're
all right. Should we give it one more try?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay.
So it is 2025. So we're
all right. Should we give it one more try?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay.
So it is 2025. So we're
all right. Should we give it one more try?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay.
So it is 2025. Just checking. Test 1, 2, 3. Checking our sound. Just checking. Test 1, 2, 3. Checking our sound. Just checking. Test 1, 2, 3. Checking our sound. Just checking. Test 1, 2, 3. Checking our sound. Hello, good evening. Another sound check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do a 3-way sound check. Angela, can you hear and everything okay?
Yes, how is that working?
Wonderful. Natalie, checking in?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, wow, I think we're ready to go.
Now, can everyone else hear us?
Little excitement for the evening.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Oh, it works. Winner. I like it. Thank you.
Yay, here we go.
All right. Well, we're going to take it from the top. My name is Jenny Johnson. I'm one of the assistant principals at the high school and wanted to welcome you to Curriculum Night for our students and parents that are going to be 9th graders in 25-26. With me is Angela Kiefer, one of our 9th grade counselors, and Natalie Goldberg, another one of our 9th grade counselors. Just a quick overview of what you're going to experience tonight. We will have some counselor information just in general presented, but I think most importantly, we're going to provide you with some course information around our core courses of math, English, social studies, science, and then also some tidbits around our personal wellness. Along with that, we'll also discuss a little bit about the registration process, which we kicked off today, and is one of the most important things that your children and students out there will do in your 4-year time here at Edina High School. So, some things to know about EHS. It is a little bit different than our middle schools. And for the students, this is when your official transcript or academic record begins. It starts the first day of your 9th grade year. Some things about Edina High School that might be a little different are that the work comes a little bit faster. Daily homework is expected. The workload is a little bit larger, and I think the rigor does pick up a little bit as well. In terms of registration, which I just touched on, it is so important that parents and students sit down and are very planful with respect to the classes that students choose for 25-26. We base our staffing, the number of classes we offer, the number of sections, when they occur throughout the day. That is all based on our student registration. So it's super important that students register correctly the first time, as we don't have very many opportunities for students to make changes to what they select in February. So what you select now is what you should expect to appear on your schedule when school starts next year. Another thing to know is that we do have 7 classes almost every day, but 7 classes would be a full load for students. And students do have an opportunity to take what we call a quiet student prep. Back in my day, it was called a study hall. But if you want to just have a little bit of a break in your day, feel free to sign up for one of those student preps. And then the last thing you need to know about EHS is that all of our teachers, every adult in our building is here to help kids. And it's super important that if you have questions, or maybe one day in class, you're like, that went right over my head, I'm not sure what to do, be sure to be in touch with your teacher as soon as possible. We are all here to help all kids. Kicking us off is our math department area leader, Nate Murphy. He's going to tell us a little bit about what you can expect for 9th grade math classes.
Well, welcome. My name is Nate Murphy, and I am the head of the math department here at Edina High School. And I'm hoping that this video will help you understand what would be the best course for your child to register for as they enter in as a 9th grader. Now, over here on my left, you can see this is a list of the standard track of what students would normally take as a typical high school student. And that would be starting with intermediate algebra, and then taking geometry, and then algebra 2. And then finally, their senior year, having some opportunities of either taking pre-calculus or any one of our other electives, which I'll share here in a little bit. So if your student is currently in 8th grade taking algebra 1, they would want to come into the high school then starting with that standard track in intermediate algebra. Now, I understand that we have students taking different classes, and there are some different tracks that students might be on. And so if your student is currently in intermediate algebra or compacted algebra, they would want to register for geometry in the high school. And then if they're currently in geometry, they would take algebra 2, or if they're currently in algebra 2, then they would want to take pre-calculus, and they would be on that fastest track. Now, if you're wondering, well, what would my student take after pre-calculus, or what are the other electives that would be available after students take the required courses here as far as graduation requirements? Algebra 2 is the last required course, but students are also required to have 3 math classes in the high school. So these would be the other electives that would be available to them once they get to that point. Now, I do want to take a minute to talk about off-ramp opportunities, because I do know that there are students on these fast tracks, and sometimes the fast track is great, but then they start to hit a wall. And sometimes if that wall hits when they're in intermediate algebra or compacted algebra and they're starting to struggle a little bit, this would be a good time for you to reflect and see, would it be better for your student to go back and take intermediate algebra again here in the high school? Because intermediate algebra, those algebra concepts are so critical as they move forward to make sure that they have a really good foundation there. And so if your student is struggling, like maybe with a B-, definitely a C, I would highly, highly recommend taking this opportunity to have this off-ramp for them to go back and really solidify those skills. Because sometimes we do have students where they continue on that fast track, but then they struggle in the high school and they have to retake a class. And in the high school, that's obviously a time when you don't want them to retake because it's going to impact their GPA, and it just kind of gets messy. So please take a minute to make sure you reflect on if this would be a good opportunity. Same thing if your child is currently in Algebra 2. If your child's currently in Algebra 2 and they're also getting a B- or definitely a C, I would highly recommend taking Algebra 2 again in the high school. Now, in both those situations, you might be wondering, well, wouldn't it just be kind of a waste? It's just going to be a repeat of the same stuff. Yes and no. It's going to be a repeat of the same concepts, but in the middle school and the high school, we use different testing materials. So we don't have the same tests. We don't have the same quizzes. We do homework a little bit differently. There's different philosophies of education between the two schools. So it is going to be, there is going to be enough difference where it's not going to feel like they're just doing the same thing all over again. Yes, they will see the same concepts, but what's going to happen is they're really going to master those concepts, because especially if you have a student in Algebra 2 currently, we expect that students coming into pre-calculus already have mastered and have a good, solid understanding of some of these skills. And there's always one or two students in every class where they're coming in as a ninth grader and they're really struggling with some of those. And they might have benefited from taking Algebra 2 again. So in that way, they really would have had a better understanding of those concepts before entering in pre-calculus. So if you're wondering whether or not that should be the case for your child, I would say look at their grades, obviously. Talk to their math teacher there in the middle school. Or if you have any other questions, you can feel free to contact me as well. And here is my email address. So don't be afraid to shoot me an email, ask me any questions. I'd be happy to answer anything that wasn't answered in this video. So good luck, and I look forward to having your student, hopefully in the future, in the high school.
Well, that was a lot of information about math, which may have left some of you with more questions. And if that's the case, Mr. Murphy left his information there for you. We also have it again at the end of this presentation. We're also going to show you where the course catalog is, and that is a place where you can watch smaller videos about specific courses and read the course descriptions. And we always encourage our students to talk to their current teachers about what would be appropriate for them, what placement would be best. So if they're still questioning their math placement, definitely talk to their current math teacher or reach out to Mr. Murphy, like he said. Next, we're going to hear from Tess Bademan, and she is part of our English department, and she's going to talk about the ninth grade offerings for our English courses. This year, we had 2 new courses in ninth grade. We have English 9 Survey and English 9 Roundtable, and Tess is going to explain the difference to those, the differences in those to you now.
Hello, I'm Tess Bademan, English Department Area Leader, and I'm excited to share with you your course options as you consider registration for ninth grade English at Edina High School. Next year, we're offering 2 different courses to choose from for ninth grade English. And I just want to start by saying all of our English courses work on meeting important language arts skills and Minnesota English standards, especially reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Our goal with all of our courses is to help our students grow to be original and complex thinkers, readers, and writers who can communicate their ideas clearly and creatively with independence and confidence. The difference between the 2 courses has to do with a different level of independence and support to reach that goal. So for ninth grade English, you can choose between English 9 Survey and English 9 Roundtable. English 9 Survey includes more guidance, more teacher support for students. The coursework moves at a standard pace and leaves students more time to practice their learning. On the other hand, English 9 Roundtable requires increased student independence and responsibility and moves at a more accelerated pace. Both courses are designed to meet the Minnesota State standards. Both courses are designed to prepare students to do well in future advanced courses like AP courses or College in the Schools courses. Both have homework, both have discussion as a learning activity, both require about the same amount of writing, and both explore reading through thematic units. Again, the difference is the amount of teacher support, and the pacing of each class. So English 9 survey provides more teacher support and standard pacing, whereas English 9 roundtable requires more student independence and moves at a more accelerated pace. So there's lots of good reasons to take either course. When you're registering, you want to consider the big picture of all the courses that you're taking, as well as your goals for the year. You want to be challenged, you want to grow, but you also want to have work-life balance overall. So take that into consideration when you're choosing. Also, if you do take 9 survey, you can always move into roundtable in 10th grade. And similarly, if you take roundtable in 9th grade, you can always move into survey in 10th grade. So it's not like you're restricted to a certain path based on the choice that you make for 9th grade. Again, the difference is in the amount of support and the kind of pacing offered in each course. So I also want to just take this opportunity to talk briefly about future options for you, exciting possibilities that you might consider for 11th and 12th grade English. We are offering, in addition to AP courses, college in the schools courses through the University of Minnesota, where you can get free guaranteed credit through the University of Minnesota in both literature and writing. And these are courses offered on campus at EHS. And this is in addition to AP courses. So we are really excited about this partnership with the University of Minnesota. And in addition to these college level classes, we have a lot of new options for 11th and 12th grade that we're very excited about. All of these courses fulfill the graduation requirements in English. We have courses in World Lit, Women Writers, African American Literature, Literature of War, Crime Literature, Sci-Fi, Gothic and Horror Literature, Public Speaking, U.S. Literature, Creative Writing, a film course, and this is in addition to the AP and College in the Schools courses that I mentioned. So lots of exciting options for you in the future. Just wanted to let you know what's coming in future years too. Thank you.
Tess had some great information there for everybody. One of the things I really appreciated that she talked about is making sure that we have that balance. So she talks about the 2 different levels or 2 different styles in English classes, the standard pace and the accelerated pace. And it's great if students really love to read and love English. That roundtable might be a really nice fit. But we also want to consider what else is the student taking. And this is going to be now, when we hear from social studies, another situation where we want students to be really thoughtful about what they're choosing. It's not always an easy change from a AP course to the standard course or vice versa. And we want kids to be really thoughtful about what class they're choosing. And now we're going to have Eric Anderson talk to us about the difference between cultural geography and AP human geography.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to EHS Social Studies. This is a look at the Social Studies program at Edina High School for those in the class, the graduating class of 2028 and beyond. If you are in the graduating class of 2027, 26, or 25, this presentation is not for you, as there has been a change in the social studies curriculum and the scope and sequence. So you would want to look for other resources that are out there and widely available to talk about your pathway, which remains unchanged. This video is in particular is for the class of 2028 and beyond. And we have a brand new pathway starting with the class of 2028, and that is a geography focus in 9th grade. Previously, we had a government focus, and now we have a geography focus followed by world history, U.S. history, and then government economics in 12th grade. We are excited that this will also allow us to have 1 full year of social studies at every grade level. 2 semesters in 9, 2 semesters in 10, 2 semesters in 11, and 2 semesters in 12. You'll also notice there's some choices. Government, for example, can be taken in 11 or 12. Economics can be taken actually with the AP option at any grade, and the standard option in grades 11 and 12 also. So it is also a schedule that is flexible in order to fit the needs of learners, and as far as filling schedules that students have that open up. The next thing then is to talk about the choices in 9th grade, and you have 2 choices in 9th grade. They are cultural geography or AP human geography. The classes will be very, very similar. Both of them at their core study human interactions with the environment, culturally, economically, politically, socially. This will build on what you learned in 8th grade. It will not repeat what you learned in 8th grade. It will build on the things that you learned in 8th grade. And we'll look at these interactions on the world, the national, the local levels as well. So you have that whole wide variety of topics to look at from big to small. This will also feature some broad-based social studies skills. Both classes will also engage you in inquiry, in research, in civic engagement, in current events. And neither course, you should know, is a prerequisite for 10th grade AP options. So you may decide in 9th grade to take the AP level course, or you may not for whatever reason. And that is completely fine. And you will have that opportunity to hop into any AP class you want in social studies along the way. There is no prerequisite. If you're considering taking the AP Human Geography class, your counselors will talk about this at some point, but you should definitely know that this will go much deeper, faster, and in more depth. There's going to be more material, and it's going to go faster. You'll be expected to kind of apply your skills rather than just spitting out facts back. And we really need you to think about, are you a self-motivated student with strong work skills? Are you going to come motivated and ready to learn and ready to do that? Those types of things should not be an issue coming into an AP level course, particularly in 9th grade. Reading skills, very, very important. You'll have a college level textbook, and really that interest in the topic, of course, is going to be very helpful as well to really pique your interest and to motivate you along the way. Just in general, consider that this is a significant leap up from your 8th grade social studies class. It's a leap beyond the next level, which would be the standard level course, and you are hopping in now to an AP level class where you could potentially gain college credit. So you want to think about that. We would recommend an A or an A minus in 8th grade when looking at AP Human Geography. When you go beyond 9th grade, we have a wide variety of electives, and you can take a look at the list. What's great is there are some that are the AP level, some that are not. But we're very proud that over 80% of graduates at Edina High School in the last 5 years have taken more than the required number of social studies credits. Our electives are very, very important. We think they're very popular because not only are they valuable, but they are enjoyable classes to take. The kids can learn a lot and apply themselves a lot. So think about taking an elective class, and here's the list that you can take along the way as well. Another thing that's great in social studies is the opportunity to get involved in a lot of different opportunities, from mock trial to Model UN, several things in economics. World Quest and Quiz Bowl and Knowledge Bowl are all part of the department as well. We have a strong History Day program, a C-SPAN student camp contest, many travel opportunities, both nationally and internationally, and even a chance to get involved and do some work at the state capitol through the House Page program. So if you're interested in any of those, talk to those teachers, and also look for those opportunities at the Activities Fair, which is held every fall at Edina High School. Thanks for listening. Have a great night, and we look forward to seeing the class, the new class of 9th graders in the fall. Thank you.
All right. That was some great information from Mr. Anderson. So just like Angela had said with the thinking about considering an AP class, just really thinking about the schedule overall and how much your students have going on and the types of classes they're taking, what kind of time they have available after school to put the work in for that AP class. There are additional videos in the course catalog where they outline the AP class in even more detail. And also there's a video for cultural geography as well, if you're just looking at that curriculum. We will be talking with students about this when we visit the middle schools next week too. too. So if they have questions, they can ask one of the counselors. Next, we are going to hear from Mr. McLean about science.
Hi there. My name is Gavin McLean. I'm one of the science teachers at Edina High School. What I'm hoping to do in the next 2 minutes is give you a quick overview of our science sequence. The first course we do is a course that's called Physical Earth. It covers the state-required Earth standards, and it's from there that we go into chemistry, from chemistry into biology, and then biology into physics. These 4 year-long courses make up the core of the science program. From that core, we offer then the electives, such as the AP courses, as well as the single semester electives. So what's the choice of our incoming 9th grader? Well, it's about that core and whereabouts they are right now, and which is the next course in progression. For the majority of students, they're currently in 8th grade science or enriched science. This is called Pathway 1, in which case they're going to be registering for Physical Earth in the fall. For some students, though, they are currently already learning about Physical Earth at the middle school level because they're on Pathway 2 or the compacted series, in which case then they're going to be going into chemistry or enriched chemistry. If you're not too sure which course you should be registering for, then please chat to your son, your daughter, and ask what current course they're in. And if they're in 8th grade science, they're going to be registering for Physical Earth. If they're in Physical Earth, they're going to be registering for chemistry or enriched chemistry. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out. Perhaps you might be even a new family to Edina Public Schools, in which case we'd be more than happy to try and help guide you what the best course is in the sequence. Thank you for listening, and have a good night.
All right, a couple thoughts. Like Mr. McLean just said, if you're a new family, you might be wondering about options for you as well. Just a note, if you are new to Edina High School, meaning you're not currently at Southview or Valley View, we will be reaching out to you in the next couple of weeks to set up an appointment so we'll work together to do course selections for your students. So know that we haven't forgotten about you. We'll be getting to you soon. But I did want to mention we do get a number of questions for students who are looking to maybe accelerate in science. So maybe you're in the 8th grade science right now and you're wanting to take chemistry as a 9th grader. We're not currently aware of a Physical Earth science curriculum that's out there online. So what some of our students will do is they'll take Physical Earth science as a 9th grader, and then they might consider doing chemistry over the summer. We're not necessarily recommending this. It's just a common question. So there is information in the course catalog for external partner programs. If that's something that you're looking for, you can also connect with one of your counselors about that. Next, we are going to hear from the EHS Wellness Department, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about timeline, course catalog, access to resources, things like that.
Hi, my name is Melanie Pusateri, and I'm the area leader for the Wellness Department, and I'm here to talk to you about the course offerings in the Wellness Department. First of all, for graduation, student must take 1 semester of our health course, and students must take 2 semesters in the wellness department. They must take personal wellness and another course before graduation. Let's talk about health. For the health class, we have 3 pathways which you can take health. You can do it traditionally during the school day. We also have a summer blended health, where in the summer, students must meet in person on certain dates. You must have consistent internet, and the students will then do online through the summer. This is really for self-motivated students. And we also have online health, which is offered during the school day, again, self-directed students, but you do have daily homework. So understand that when you're taking an online class or summer class, you will have outside work that will need to be completed. For the personal wellness course, we also have 3 pathways. Number 1, if you take the course during the school day, you're active during the day, you really have very little homework. You can take summer personal wellness. This is again directed for self-directed motivated students. You must have consistent internet throughout the summer. You will have homework, and there are some in-person dates. Check out the flyer for the most recent information. Or you can take online personal wellness during the school day. Again, this is for self-directed, motivated, active students, maybe an athlete who is active outside of class. But again, you will have daily homework in that class as well. So students coming in need to take health and personal wellness. After they take personal wellness, we have a myriad of other courses for students to take. Wellness and lifetime activities. You can look at the list below. Some popular ones, we have our basketball theory, strength and conditioning, unified PE. So we have lots of courses for students to take after they take the required personal wellness course. We try to offer courses that are motivating for all students and can hit every student's wellness need. If you have questions, certainly you can certainly email me. Again, if you're interested in the summer school, check out the flyers. That gives you the most current information and the requirements. And just a reminder, if you take summer school, you can only take one of the courses through the summer. We do not recommend that you take both. We hope that answers your questions. And if you have any further questions, you can certainly email me. Again, Melanie Pusateri. Thank you. Hi, my name is Melanie Pusateri, and I'm the area.
So worried about sound now from how we started, but so a few things to note for the summer personal wellness and summer health. You can find the detailed information in the course catalog along with the link to the flyer that Melanie was referencing. But just real quick, so you have those dates. Our summer personal wellness in-person dates are June 10th and from 8 to 12. And then our health is June 9th and June 16th from 8 to 10. And the student has to be available on those dates. If they can't be there in person, they cannot take the summer classes. And then they'll have to look at some of the other options that Melanie was talking about. So again, personal wellness was June 10th and health was June 9th and June 16th.
And we offer these every summer. So, like Angela said, you could also do in-person online or online during the day, or you could look at doing the next summer. So yes. These are classes that we regularly offer. So we have heard from our core classes. We've heard from math, science, social studies, English, and then personal wellness and health. Your students tomorrow in advisory will be learning about the graduation requirements or the overview of graduation requirements. In addition to those subject areas that we just covered, students are able to take a number of electives throughout their school career. Some of them we would consider required electives. So our students are required to take 2 semesters of a fine art at some point, their 4 years of high school. And then new for the class of 2027 and 2028, students will be asked to take personal finance as well. That's a class that needs to be taken in grades 10 through 12. So we're not going to be doing any course planning or mapping for that for 9th grade, but just know that that's out there. But we've got electives in the fine arts area, business, STEM, family and consumer sciences. Our course catalog lists every single class that we offer. Many of our teachers have a little video, similar to what you saw tonight, but maybe not quite as much detail. Just the facts teacher talks about foods, and these are the kinds of things that we make, and this is what we do in the class. So the course catalog is very detailed. It's got a lot of really great information. So definitely encourage you to look at that because your students do have up to 7 classes they'll be taking during the school day. In addition, so in addition to those core classes, they've got electives as well.
Natalie, can I just say personal finance? I don't know if I misheard it or if my brain just has too many classes running through it. It's for the class of 2028 and the class of 2029.
Oh, I said 27. I did not mean to say 27. Okay. Sorry.
I just don't want anybody who's got a 10th
you didn't hear it wrong.
I
definitely said the wrong grade. So don't panic if you have a sophomore. It's current 9th grade, 2028.
Yes.
Thank you.
There's just too many numbers and classes all
There's
of a
too many
sudden.
numbers. I shouldn't have even
Yes.
said it.
I just want to make
Yeah.
sure we clarify.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to talk really quickly about world language. Here at the high school, we offer several different world languages. We have American Sign Language, Chinese, French, Latin, and Spanish. We offer level 1 of all of those, but I will say that French 1 ran this year, but it hadn't run in several years prior. And Latin 1 is also a little hit or miss on whether we get enough students to sign up for that to be able to run it. This is where that making sure we have a really thorough, accurate registration process comes into play, because we can only run classes if enough kids sign up for them. If your student is currently in French, Latin, Chinese, or Spanish, we have level 2 of all of those course offerings as well. Our incoming 8th grader or incoming 9th graders from Southview and Valley View, if you're going to continue with the world language they're currently in, they would sign up for level 2. And then if they want to start over with a new one, that is an option for them. And so that's where the ASL, Chinese, French, Latin, and Spanish ones come into play. If you are currently part of our French immersion program, those students sign up for our extended French 4. And so that kind of hits, I think. Jenny, do you want to mention anything about ASL and what kids should do if they're registering for ASL?
Yeah, thank you, Angela.
Mhm.
ASL, otherwise known as American Sign Language, is an outstanding course for students that might be interested in starting a different world language over, and it does count as a world language for most universities. That being said, it's been a very popular course for us, and it's been difficult to find teachers because it is such a unique language that's spoken. With that, we will be offering ASL 1, 2, and 3 at the high school. If you're a freshman coming in and looking to go into ASL 1, please know that you should also register for an alternate or an alternative language if you wanted to pursue a different one, because our classes are going to be very tight in terms of enrollment and who can get into them. So just a reminder, if you are looking to register for American Sign Language 1 as an incoming freshman, please be sure to add an alternate, because it is not a guarantee that you will get into that class.
Our world language department head, her name, Kim Castor, is listed there with her email. If you are a native speaker or you have a special circumstance where you're at a certain level and you would like to test to see where you're at, our world language department does a great job of meeting students where they're at and making sure they're in the appropriate level of that language. So they set up some testing to make sure kids are appropriately placed. So do not hesitate to reach out to her. She's wonderful and really wants to make sure kids are in the right place, having the best experience they can have.
As if you haven't heard enough about what we have here at Edina High School, we also have online classes that students can choose from. Keep in mind that online is fully online, and the interaction with the teacher is quite a bit less than our in-person classes. Courses will run dependent on enrollment for online this year, and that means we have to have enough students registered in order for that class to run. As a piece of advice, if you do register for an online class and we do not get enough students to run that class, students will automatically be placed in the in-person class. So again, the online class, not a guarantee that we're going to run it, but there is a guarantee that you will get into the class, whether it's in person or online. If you're interested in taking an online class next year, please, 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 when you go into Infinite Campus to register, search for online and then whatever the course you want after that, to make sure that you are registering for an online class versus an in-person. Also, one final note, you cannot take more than 3 online classes in a given semester.
All right, we're going to segue over to the counseling department for a couple of minutes and just do some introductions and then give an overview of the student experience and what's going to be happening for the 8th graders here for the next week or so as they go through the registration process. So looking at our ninth grade team, Angela and I are here tonight, and so the two of us are the ninth grade counselors, and we have a wonderful social worker, Kristen Wetzel, that we work with as well. We live in the world of ninth grade, so we're excited to welcome students into school and help them transition. And then, as you can see here, as they get to 10th grade, they will be assigned a counselor based on their alpha last name. So we have we're lucky to have a big counseling department here. There are 10 of us, again, 2 of us with ninth grade, 8 counselors serving students in grades 10 through 12. So just to be aware that change will happen in 10th grade. All right, so talking about the timeline. So you're probably wondering, well, there's all this information, but when are my students getting it and what's happening and what does it look like? So registration kicked off today at Southview and Valley View in advisory. I understand, I think Southview maybe had a band concert they were getting ready for. So there are activities in advisory each week or each day. It might look a little bit different depending on the middle school and what's happening in advisory. But we have videos that we have sent over that students will be looking at. So again, each day this week, they'll be getting the information in smaller parts. Next week, the Edina counselors are going to be over at Valley View and Southview. We'll be at Valley View on Monday the 10th, Southview Tuesday the 11th, and we will be helping students enter their classes into the computer. If they have any questions, that would be a great time for them to ask those questions. It sounds like some students were super excited today and they were watching the videos and they were ready to go. If they want to enter their classes before we head over to the middle schools, that's fine. Then what we'll do is we'll just kind of check it out and make sure everything looks good. But again, just know that your students are getting information every day this week. Registration does officially close Friday, February 14th at 4 p.m. And again, if you're new, if you're not a Southview or Valley View family currently, we will be reaching out to you once we get through this registration window, and we'll be inviting families to come in. We'll look at transcripts. We'll help students select courses. So your process is going to look a little bit different, but we'll be meeting with you soon. So one of the resources we have for our Southview and Valley View students is a Schoology folder. So if they were to go into Southview grade 8 or Valley View grade 8, there is a folder titled 25-26 High School Course Registration. It will have a link to the video for tonight's presentation. It also has links to all the videos the students are seeing in advisory throughout the week. It's got a link to graduation requirements, a course planning form, information about summer personal wellness and health, a link to the course catalog, which is probably our most valuable resource as you're doing your planning. But make sure, I would say if students have questions, the answer is probably in the Schoology folder. So have them check that out first. Again, there's all kinds of information there. So just know that there's a folder with all the information. If you're a new family, the course catalog has the information as well. The Schoology folder just kind of puts it in one spot. But if you're new, you have access to it just over on the course catalog.
Natalie, do you think if a student, let's say somebody were sick, they got influenza, they were out, they missed a lot of this registration process. Do you think a student and family would have enough of the information? You created Schoology, right? It's amazing. Yep. You did a great job. Do you think they would have enough where they could really probably take care of it at home on their own if they needed to?
Absolutely. Yep. So you'll see there's a link that has the advisory videos, and it's video 1, 2, 3, 4. So if a student is sick or maybe you're out of town or you have something going on, the students, I would say, watch them in order, video 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the Schoology has to do. So we did it. This actually was a result of COVID several years ago. So the idea is if you didn't have anyone to help you, that hopefully you have the resources available.
And then I see Dylan's already playing around in the course catalog for us.
Awesome.
So that was going to be the next slide, is just going through this course catalog, talking a little bit about what Natalie's been talking to you about. It looks like right now we're going to switch to math. Love it. So Dylan's just going through up on the upper left corner where there's like the 3 lines. You can choose the different departments and then go through them. And Dylan, if you just want to click on one of the classes and show kind of what a family might see. So in here, you'll see that there's a course number, One course ends in S1, the other one ends in S2. That's indicating semester 1 and semester 2. So if your student's going to register for geometry, they want to be sure to put in both of those, making sure they get an S1 and an S2 to register for the full year. And then you can see whether it's offered online or not. Down below is the prerequisite for this one. There is an algebra prerequisite, who it's open to, grades 9, 10, 11, and 12. The length, it's a full year course, or semester 1 and 2. And what requirement is it hitting? It's hitting that geometry requirement. What is the out of class work daily? So there's going to be a little bit of math homework daily. Sometimes it says none, periodically, daily. If there's a fee, there's no fee. And then you get a really nice course description. Some of our classes, especially the electives, have done such a good job of putting in those videos that Natalie was referring to earlier. So this is really a nice tool to have. It's got a lot of information. Our teachers have done a really nice job getting it out there for you. And there's a link to this in the Schoology page as well. Yep. So just to give, we've kind of given you a lot of details, and now we're going to kind of span out for a minute and just tell you what exactly students need for the class of 2029 to graduate from Edina High School. There's 4 years of English, which is 8 credits total. You heard about the 2 requirements in 9th grade. Social studies is 8 credits. Eric Anderson laid those out pretty well for you. And in 9th grade, it's either human geography or AP, cultural geography or AP human geography. Science, it depends upon where you're at, but to graduate from Edina High School, you have to have 6 credits. Most 4-year colleges are really looking for 4 years of science, however. Math is also 6 credits, and every student might be in a different place in math. A lot of colleges, again, are going to be looking for the 4 years, not just the 3 years. Personal wellness is the first gym credit that Melanie talked about. You can take that 1 credit anywhere from 9th to 12th grade. You have to have a second wellness credit, which is a variety of the classes that she talked about: unified, girls only, basketball theory. 1 credit in health, 2 credits in fine arts, and then that 1 credit in personal finance that needs to be taken somewhere, grades 10 through 12. And it's our job as counselors to make sure our students are hitting those, and we meet with them regularly and we keep track of what credits they're getting and which ones they need to graduate, to make sure students, the school, parents, everybody's on the same page as to where our students are and making their way towards graduation. Oh, and then we have our schedule. I'm still going.
Okay, keep going.
We have a hybrid schedule. So if you're coming from Southview or Valley View, your students already used to block days. We have a couple of block days thrown into our weeks, but Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, we have all 7 of our classes in a row, just first, second, third, fourth, all the way through 7th hour. On Wednesdays, we add in an odd day, which we have classes 1, 3, 5, and 7. And then on Thursdays, we have our even day, which is 2nd hour advisory, 4th hour, 6th hour, and then flex. For our students that are already in one of our buildings, Southview or Valley View, you're used to flex and what that means, and advisory, and this is just a continuation of those. If a student chooses to take a student prep, they still have plenty of room to get all of the credits they need. We talked about how you have to have 44 to graduate. If you were to take a student prep every semester for 4 years, you would still get to 48 credits. So there's some elective credits weaved into those 44 credits that you need. And we just, students really like the hybrid schedule, the odd and even day. I think things feel like they slow down a little bit for them, but we still work on kind of having those 7 classes and that 7-period day as well. Did I miss anything with the schedule, Natalie?
Nope, that was good.
All right, awesome.
All right, now to Jenny.
Well, that was awesome, you guys. There's a lot to learn, a lot going on here at Edina High School. And I just want to take you just briefly, just a quick overview of a few of the areas that we have and resources available to all of our students. So first is our administrative team. We have 6 administrators that are available in our main office, starting with our principal and down through the assistant principals and our activities director. We do divide students up by their last name so that we each have roughly a quarter of our students on our caseload. And we do pride ourselves on getting to know as many students as possible, though it is a lot. Also, as a support and resource for students, especially those of you that have a multicultural background, we do have 4 cultural liaisons representing 4 different areas of our world. And these staff members are there to help bridge the gap between maybe a system of education that you're used to in a different country and what school might be like in America. Also helping break down some of the language barriers, and really our cultural liaisons are integral people in helping us help students and helping students help us help them. So they are wonderful people. And if you are a family or a student from a different area and one of the people listed here are match your culture, feel free to reach out, because again, they are such a valuable resource that we rely and depend on. In terms of making the transition from middle school to high school, I think it's really important that students understand or can just imagine or anticipate what it's going to be like. It can be a stressful time, especially as August gets closer and thinking about that first day of school. But some of the things I think that really stands out for us as a staff and how we can help our incoming 9th graders ease some of that stress is just knowing what to expect. So we talked earlier about it being a faster pace. There's a little bit of an increased workload, and there is a higher expectation for students to be able to advocate for themselves. We do depend on students asking questions if they don't understand something, going to office hours, letting us know if things are going on that we can better support them with. And we do want students to learn that skill by the time they graduate. Some things successful students do is they come to school regularly. They stay on top of their homework. And because the pace is very fast, it's so important for students to stay caught up. You miss one day, you've missed 7 classes. And then that's a lot of learning to make up while you're also learning the next day's new material. Super important for kids to be organized. We do recommend that kids have a planner, a calendar to keep track of due dates and deadlines. Another tip that successful students do is they pay attention to teachers' Schoology sites. Just as all of our registration info is on a Schoology site, all of our teachers have information on their own Schoology sites. A lot of assignments, calendars, due dates, all can be found on each teacher's Schoology site. Very important would be to make sure you balance your workload and have some downtime to relax. I would say the biggest thing for me, if I could pass on to you being here at the high school for so long, is that you get to know your teachers and counselors and ask questions when you have them right away. Don't wait, just get right on it because everybody's waiting to help you. So we just need to know if you need any. One thing that we did was that we asked teachers if you could give any advice or tips to our incoming 9th graders, what would you tell them? And they said the following: think through your registration. We talked earlier about how class selection that students are making right now are final. So be sure whether you feel like you can handle the AP class or not. Which of the English classes do you think you'd be most successful in? Thinking about electives. What are you interested in? What are you looking to try out and learn more about? We want you to enjoy your time here at Edina High School, and liking the classes that you're in and feeling like you can be successful in them is super important. Tip number 2, get to know your teachers. Our teachers, our staff, every adult in the building is in this business for one reason, and that is to help students and get to know students. And when they leave our doors as seniors, they are ready for the next step in their life. And we are all focused on that and want to do our best to help students realize their dreams. Utilize teacher office hours. Again, as soon as you realize that you might have a question as a student or something happened in class that you don't understand, talk to your teacher right away. Tip number 4, stay on top of homework. Students get behind fast. We talked about there's 7 classes that meet on our 7-period days, and they go by fast. So keeping caught up with all that work is highly important and recommended. We talked about the planner, asking questions right away. And then if students do register for a student prep or study hall, they need to use that time to get caught up on their work, spend that time doing work. Yes, it might be fun to socialize with someone next to you or take a break, but it is also time given for you to get some work done. So we heard from our core areas. Once again, you can see their contact information. All of our area leaders are available to help and willing to answer any questions that you might have. Going directly to the source, I think, is probably one of the best things that you can do. Angela, Natalie, any final words?
No, we look forward to working with you.
Yep. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the fall.
Take care, everybody. Have a great night.